2011's movie sees the official debut of the replacement voice actors for Fujiko, Goemon and Zenigata, following the retirement of their previous actors after the last job. Miyuki Sawashiro voices Fujiko, Daisuke Namikawa plays Goemon, and Koichi Yamadera is Zenigata, whose first name also happens to be Koichi. Teiichi Takiguchi and Michihiro Tsuchiya serve as writer and director respectively. Haruka Shibuya serves as the voice of our leading lady Maki, while Risa Shimizu voices the secondary leading lady Misa. The ending theme is a new version of the Series 2 ending song Love Squall. An abducted Lupin wakes up in the presence of Lady Masai Todo. She tasks him with stealing a jewel being auctioned known as the Mermaid Scale, dating back to the Asuka period. No real motive is given, but she's done the usual tactic and taken Fujiko hostage as leverage. Of course, it's all an act on Fujiko's part, as revealed when Lupin leaves upon agreeing to the terms. Todo attends the museum the auction's being hosted, inadvertently encountering Jigen, who's working as a chef. Zenigata's also been alerted, working security as usual. Himuro, the owner of the Mermaid Scale, oversees the auction, revealing he needs money for his pharmaceutical company. The Mermaid Scale is brought out for bidding. It's fished away by Zenigata's assistant, revealed of course to be Lupin. Unmasked and jewel in hand, the gang make their escape. Grabbing a plane from the exhibit, they soon get pursued by helicopters. Thankfully they manage to outmaneuver them with the help of Lupin's grappling hook. Unfortunately, they're so shot up, they're forced back to the ground, where Zenigata's waiting. Himuro approaches Todo, revealing he's killed her security. He's fully aware of her plan to have Lupin steal the scale, and knows she's aware of a scroll that reveals a treasure linked to it. Todo tries to use her assistant Misa as a human shield to escape, but Himuro simply has his bodyguard run them both through. Lupin's still trying to outrun Zenigata in the meantime. He approaches a girl and hijacks her popcorn stand, sending it at the pursuing police force. Rejoining the others, he witnesses the museum getting caught in an explosion. The Mermaid Scale's also fake, as the real one is supposed to give off a scale-like reflection in sunlight. Zenigata, who also witnessed the explosion, receives a report that Todo's body was found in the remains, with the autopsy report confirming the stabbing. The girl hangs around the museum, trying and failing to get in, and encounters Lupin, who pays her back and then some for allowing the use of the popcorn stand. She realises he's a thief and starts following him around asking him to train her. Lupin refuses, but the girl, introducing herself as Maki, is persistent. Eventually he resorts to the tried and true tactic of just running. Fujiko joins the gang as they look up info on the Mermaid Scale at their hideout. Todo's mention of it dating back to the Asuka period proves significant, as it's rumoured to be tied to the tale of Yao Bikuni, the 800-year-old nun who ate the flesh of a mermaid. Thanks to her long life, she supposedly acquired many treasures that are stored on a remote island, but they're apparently heavily guarded. Fujiko presents a scroll that Todo possessed, which Lupin reads and learns of a second scale jewel. Known as the Dragon Scale, Lupin heads out to steal it, though it's also partly motivated by Fujiko sending a calling card in Lupin's name. Lupin's plan involves sending out a pair of giant inflatables at Zenigata. When they burst, they emit a blinding light, allowing Lupin to sneak past them and take the Dragon Scale. Despite evading the police, Maki spots him and follows. Returning to the hideout, Jigen reveals that Himuro's pharmaceutical company is just a front for black market weapon development. Fujiko's already gone off to meet with Himuro too, suspecting his part in Todo's death, but mostly interested in whatever treasure's uncovered. Lupin's next target is the real Mermaid Scale, though Jigen warns him of Kageura, Himuro's bodyguard. They then send someone outside their door and ready themselves. It turns out to be Maki, still wanting Lupin to train her. Jigen and Goemon leave, deciding that's Lupin's problem. Lupin's response is to drop her outside before heading to Himuro's building. Lupin climbs the side of the building, though Maki sneaks in as a cleaner. Zenigata's also present, questioning Himuro about the Mermaid Scale. Lupin listens in before moving to Himuro's office as the pair leave. Meeting Maki, he grudgingly decides to work with her to find the Mermaid Scale. Meanwhile, Jigen and Goemon's attention turns to a house on a small island. Thanks to the waters being guarded, they cut down a tree as a makeshift bridge across. A still alive Misa's inside, asking them about Lupin. Speaking of which, he and Maki haven't had any luck finding the jewel. Maki tries a bookshelf and turns out to be right, despite Lupin dismissing it as too obvious. Maki's too hasty in picking it up, however, triggering the alarm. Making their escape, Lupin and Maki run into Himuro and Zenigata, landing Himuro in hot water with Zenigata by mentioning he has the real mermaid scale. Maki's prepared for an escape thanks to a bike hidden in her cleaning trolley. With some encouragement from Lupin, they make their escape through a window. Lupin shields Maki and uses his wall climbers to slow their fall, leaving them both reasonably unhurt. Jigen recognises Misa from the auction, but before she can say more, they're attacked by Himuro's men. Taking them out, Jigen comes face to face with Kageura. Goemon steps up, recognising this as his fight. One of the stragglers throws a dagger at Goemon, and while he deflects it, it goes in Jigen's direction. Misa steps in, taking a fatal blow from it. She urges Jigen to run and make sure the jewels stay out of Himuro's hands. As he does so, he looks back and sees that she's seemingly unhurt. Kageura gets the upper hand on Goemon, but Jigen drives in, allowing them to escape. Lupin suspects that Himuro's up to something, as stealing the mermaid scale was too easy even for him. Evading the police, he tells Maki to go back to her parents. Maki tells him she was abandoned by her father, living in an orphanage with only Misa bonding with her, acting as an older sister. Misa also had a strange power, namely being able to heal from any injury faster than most, no matter how potentially deadly. Lupin realises that Himuro plans to use Misa's power to bypass any traps to Yao Bikuni's treasure. Maki continues her story, saying Misa was under Todo's employ because the orphanage owed her money. Upon hearing this, Lupin refuses to train Maki but assures he'll steal Misa back himself. Himuro runs some tests with Misa's blood, injecting it into a very willing subject. Testing him with a gunshot, it doesn't work, despite some minimal reactions. He tells Misa her healing ability is due to her being a descendant of Yao Bikuni. As Zenigata grills gangsters for info on Himuro's weapons trading, Himuro says Misa will be key to helping him develop a new kind of weapon. Lupin analyses the scales, discovering a pattern that forms a map to a remote Japanese island when they're lined up the right way. Himuro learns of Maki's connection to Misa thanks to a spy, and gives her a thinly veiled threat if she doesn't cooperate. Goemon leaves to train for the inevitable rematch with Kageura. Lupin finds Fujiko in his room as he heads to rest up, who turns on the charm to get him to give up the location of the scales. She then uses her classic knockout perfume and grabs them, heading out to Himuro. Himuro smashes the scales, revealing they were fakes fitted with transmitters, and holds Fujiko at gunpoint, revealing he never trusted her. Before he can take care of Fujiko, Himuro is alerted to Misa's escape. As he races out, Fujiko uses her charm on the guard he left behind, making use of a nearby weapon cabinet after taking him out. Himuro is in pursuit of Misa, but Fujiko interrupts with a grenade launcher she picked out. Jigen wakes Lupin up, who assumes he's angry about Fujiko stealing the scales, but soon learns that Maki's left. Lupin heads out to find her, meeting Fujiko and Misa on the way, but Himuro's taken her hostage. Zenigata's also wise to Himuro's plan, discovering the map to the treasure's location. The gang head to the shoreline, taking the night to rest up before heading to the island. They assure Misa that Maki won't be harmed for now. Misa's relieved, revealing Maki was the only person not afraid of her healing power at the orphanage, which apparently awakened when she was the only survivor of an accident. Lupin takes some alone time to think, prompting Jigen to question him on the treasure of Yao Bikuni. Lupin reveals that it's because of a curiosity to what his family name means, thinking the treasure may have an answer, seeing as his grandfather once made an attempt for it. Morning comes and everyone arrives at the island, though Goemon separates from the others. The gang find a chasm that seems to be the route to the treasure chamber. Meanwhile, Zenigata finds an old monocle, as well as a hole in some rocks. Investigating the hole, he ends up falling down. Himuro's already at the main entrance, sending one of his men inside. A mechanism at the entrance activates and fires spikes off at the man, killing him instantly. Another man runs down to warn Himuro of the gang's presence, but Himuro realises he's actually Lupin. He tells Lupin to hand over Misa, pushing Maki towards the cave entrance. Misa, who was hiding nearby, calls out, offering herself in exchange. Lupin interrupts, saying he'll take care of the trap in her place. He charges in, blocking the spikes and jamming the mechanism with his wall climbers. Himuro brings the girls into the cave, ordering Kageura to kill the others. Thankfully, Goemon arrives for the rematch. Further inside, Lupin's group spots an altar with a place set for the two jewels. Another device emerges, to which Himuro tells Misa to stick her hand on it. It impales her hand and the blood from the injury runs down and unseals another door. Inside is the sleeping Yao Bikuni, who bears more than a passing resemblance to Misa. Himuro explains that Yao Bikuni has the same super healing cells as Misa, which he wants to exploit to create unkillable super soldiers. He also reveals he's a descendant of Yao Bikuni himself, though Misa's power is stronger, branding her as the Mermaid tribe while his family were the Gate tribe, meant to guard the scroll, along with an unseen Scale tribe that guarded the jewels. Zenigata crashes down, interrupting Himuro before he can shoot Lupin. Lupin takes the opportunity to dive for his discarded gun in response, with Maki knocking Himuro off kilter. Thanks to this, Lupin shoots him before he can make a move on either of them. Zenigata's priorities once again get skewed towards Lupin. He drops the monocle, which Lupin recognises as his grandfather's and realises the hole Zenigata crashed through was a second entrance. Himuro is more interested in Yao Bikuni, taking a blood sample and injecting it into himself. As a result, he starts hulking out. Meanwhile, Goemon finishes off Kageura, allowing the gang to head inside to join the fight. Lupin fires at Himuro, but he now displays the same advanced healing. Himuro charges at Lupin and smashes him against the cave's wall. Zenigata has a bit more luck against him, even if it's only brief. Himuro mutates further as Jigen arrives and lands some shots, but he doesn't have any better result than Lupin. Lupin realises Himuro's still not fully immortal yet, as he starts to drain more of Yao Bikuni's blood vampire style. Yao Bikuni's body is lowered underground. Himuro moves in on Jigen and Goemon, while Fujiko decides to make a strategic escape. Zenigata and Lupin fire on Himuro, who turns his attention to Misa. Maki finds Himuro's gun and takes aim, hoping to save her. Before she can, Misa is seemingly possessed by Yao Bikuni, who condemns Himuro's greed as the cave starts collapsing. Himuro's mutations have gone out of control, so Goemon takes a chance and beheads him as Jigen fires the head into the erupting cave. Lupin gives one more shot to Himuro's remains as the magma swallows them. Zenigata tries to order everyone outside, but Lupin still wants answers and heads deeper inside. Maki tries to follow as Misa's gone inside too, but Zenigata stops her, assuring her that Lupin always gets his target. Following Misa, Lupin's injuries start to catch up to him. Falling further down, he finds his grandfather's notebook. The pages are blank save one, causing Lupin to start laughing. Yao Bikuni then appears, believing him to be Arsene and saying she's been waiting. It's revealed Arsene simply said a prayer for her, before promising to return when she awoke as the notebook page said. As her spirit fades, she thanks Lupin for keeping his promise. Lupin spots an unconscious Misa and moves to get her outside. They end up underwater, and Lupin spots what looks like a mermaid as he tries to swim to the surface. Lupin wakes up among the gang, who split off from Zenigata with a separate boat. Misa's also back to normal, with no recollection of what happened. Lupin starts to try and rationalise whether Yao Bikuni was really magical or whether something more rational like evolution was at play. Doesn't matter either way as the island's destroyed, though he reassures Maki and Misa that they're family. Zenigata's caught up to them by this point, though Fujiko manages to beat him to the gang thanks to stealing Himuro's boat. As Lupin bids the girls farewell, they notice Misa has an injury that doesn't heal instantly, suggesting she's able to have a normal life from here on. Even with Lupin trying to rationalise it at the end, this serves as one of the more mythical stories of recent times. Almost feels like Todo was killed a bit too early, as there could have been a three-way battle for the treasure. Still, at the very least we get enough reason for her to be holding on to Misa, though it's debatable if she knew about her heritage. Himuro being descended from Yao Bikuni himself makes sense, as it serves to explain his fascination with the legend as a whole, and makes it a more personal quest for him as he's not as strongly attuned to her power. His ultimate fate also calls back to Burton from Fujiko's Unlucky Days, albeit the mutation coming from possible magic rather than magnetic energy. Can certainly say he had his own death coming too, given how he disregarded everyone around him as little more than human shields. Maki and Misa are both fine as characters, another case of sisters helping each other out, albeit adopted this time. While she messes up on stealing the Mermaid scale, Maki does show some insights as a thief, pointing out the bookshelf that Lupin shrugs off as being too obvious. Lupin's moment of wanting to learn more about his family name was a nice point too, as it shows that his dedication to thievery does have more to it underneath everything, even if he's not quite sure what it is himself. Zenigata being a bit more active was also appreciated. Yamadera's noticeably deeper voice than Goronaya, but he certainly matches the energy. It's also nice he's smart enough to look into Himuro, plus saving the day at the end in the only way he can. The shift in art style is noticeable, but certainly not unwelcome. It's more simplistic, but allows for some nice flow in the animation. Also helps the character designs for the gang fit in a bit more uniform with the original characters too. Some of the earlier movies had, not really a clash, but certainly a noted difference between them and the Monkey Punch style main characters. This one gets quite blood-soaked on more than one occasion too. Maybe this was a test run for Woman Called Fujiko Mine and the Koike movies being far more violent, with the softer art style serving as a mask of sorts. While not the most standout TV movie ever, this one does serve a nice starting point for the new cast members, and contains an entertaining enough story throughout. Next time, Lupin's implicated in a murder as he hunts for another page of Marco Polo's travel logs. Until then,